All right, now this is going to be day 3 homework, and I'm very proud of you people that are hanging in there doing your homework each night. Day 3 homework to help you with Friday's test, because I know it's not going to be too easy, but if you keep on doing this homework, I'm hoping that your brain is more equipped for it. So we've already done this. Hopefully you did this, because we have the tutorial together. Now we are on the third one. Given 2 points, write the equation all 3 ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, I'm going to lift it up here. So you should be on the second tab. Given 2 points, write the equation all 3 ways. You're going to write along with me the tutorial notes, and then you'll be trying one by yourself down here. So, okay, there we go. Now it's focused. So you're going to have a problem very similar to this in the test, and it's going to ask you, it's going to give you 2 points. Let's just say these are our 2 points, and then it's going to ask you for what is the equation. However, you don't know if they're going to give you the equation in point-slope form, slope-intercept form, or standard form, so you should know how to write it in all 3 ways. And that's the reason why I'm doing this foldable, because you might already know how to write it in slope-intercept form, but how would you then convert it to point-slope form? Or how would you then put it in standard form? So there's going to be a short pause. So remember, you got to be able to write it in all 3 forms. And I know there are some people that are like, oh, Miss Ward's crazy. Why did she do all that? I could just use stat edit. So come on, let's do that then. Let's use stat edit. So we got stat edit. I got -2, 8. No, that's -2 for that one, but that one is -4, and then so that's -2, 8, and then -4, 9. So I'm going to use stat edit, but stat edit only shows me how to write it in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So press stat, go over to calc, down to number 4. Enter. Okay, so cool. So then I got a equals -0.5. So that's -0.5x, and then my b is a +7. However, remember, hey, yeah, they might give you decimals, or you might have to convert that -0.5 to a fraction. So then it would look like this: y equals -1/2 x plus 7. So yeah, this is slope-intercept form. Cool. However, remember, your test might not give it to you in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. So you have to be able to look at slope-intercept form and say, well, what if they showed this to me in point-slope form? Now remember, the slope's going to stay the same. But for point-slope form, they can... And what I'm going to do is actually I need to go back and find my slope, because at home you don't have a calculator, so you won't be able to use stat edit. So let's actually find the slope using the 2 points. So I got -2, 8, -4, 9. So from 8 to 9, I'm going to show you 2 ways to find slope. From 8 to 9 there was an increase of 1. Then from -2 to -4 there was a decrease of 2. So that shows me that yes, my slope is -1/2. However, if you like to use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, then let me show you how to find the slope that way. So that would be y2 minus y1 would be 9 minus 8. x2 minus x1 would be -4 minus a -2. So 9 minus 8 is 1. Yes, and then -4, that actually becomes a big plus sign because there's 2 negatives right next to each other. So -4 plus 2 is -2. So do you see how I still got the same slope? -1/2, or 1 with the -2 at the bottom. So now I'm going to use point slope form. Now that I know for sure 3 times, I see that the slope is -1/2. However, for point slope form, remember there is 2 possible equations you could write for it. And that's what you're going to write. When you have your answer, you're going to write both possible equations. So for the first point, I'm going to take the 8, because that's the y. Remember, this is x comma y. And I'm going to put it in there because it's y minus whatever the y is. Then over here is x minus whatever the x is. But remember, you can't, that's like bad math right there. You got to put those together. So I'm putting these together like that. So this could be one form. This is one of my answers for point slope form. Or what if they didn't use this point? What if they actually use this point? So that would be y minus the y is 9. The slope is going to stay the same. Remember, we found the slope 3 times back here. And that would be x minus the x. But this is bad math right here. Negative times a negative, that just becomes one big plus sign. So either way it goes, you can have 1 or 2 answers. But now I've only written it in slope-intercept form and point-slope form. Now I got to figure out how to get it in the old stupid standard form. Stupid standard form. And the best way to go from, the best form to look at to get it in standard form is to start with slope-intercept form. So if something is in slope-intercept form and I need to move it to standard, you have to remember with standard form, if you look on the front, standard form, the AX and the BY are on the same side. So I need to make sure my X term and my Y term are on the same side of the equals. So remember, we talked about it a whole bunch today, people. In order to move this whole X term over here, I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to add a half X to the other side of my equal sign. So what I'm forming over here is I have plus, it's a positive half X and a positive Y equals 7. Now remember, standard form means that I have my X and my Y on the same side of the equals. So technically, this is standard form, but one of the stupid rules about the stupid standard form is that you cannot have any fractions. So in order for me to get rid of this fraction is, and you guys, whatever this bottom number is, I'm going to multiply everything by it. So I got to multiply 2 times the half X, and I got to multiply 2 times the positive Y, and then I got to multiply 2 times that 7. And then to make a long story short here, 2 times 1, that's 2 over, this just becomes an X because the 2 on top and 2 on bottom cancel. Then this is plus 2Y equals 2 times 7 is 14. So this will be my standard form. I know this last part looked a little bit difficult. All right, it looked a little bit difficult, but it's the problem that I give you is not going to have a fraction in there, and if it does, then I will not mark points off of you as long as you've done everything else. So if you need to, replay the video again so you can see this first step and then try it, and then this first step and then try it. So the problem that you're going to do, excuse me, is you're going to do 3 comma negative 4 and 5 comma 0, and I want you to find all 3 forms, standard form, slope-intercept form, and the 2 possible point slope forms for your answer here, okay? And I'm going to set you up. I want you to, over here is where I want you to find the slope, because first you got to find the slope. You can put it in a table. You can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm trying to help you set it up, people. And then once you get that slope, the first thing you probably want to do is put it in point slope form. I think that would be your best deal, because if you can get it in point slope form, you can then look back here at what you did to get it in slope intercept form from the day 2 homework, okay? So please, you can stop the video right now and then start doing this, or you can keep watching and I will remind you again of how to go from point slope form to slope intercept form, because it is very important, okay? So there's going to be a short pause and then I will have one more. So I'm going to do this quick. If you want to get something from point slope form into slope intercept form, you have to first get rid of the parentheses by multiplying. This stays the same. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Now, in order for me to get the y by itself, that's the whole purpose for slope-intercept form, is I need to do the opposite of y minus 3, which says to add 3 to the other side of the equal sign. Because this zeroes out, and I have y equals negative 3x, and then this needs to get combined together, and it actually becomes a 0. But remember, if you're writing this, or if you see it on the test, it is not going to be a 0. Zeros are invisible. So this here tells me I have a slope of negative 3, and the y-intercept is 0, 0. All right, and that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for doing your homework. I really appreciate it. You should too.